Hey guys, welcome back to We Need to Go Deeper, the podcast about technical difficulties. My name is Green, and with me is Rob from Alpaca Patrol.
That's me. I am an alpaca. Just in case you didn't know, that's what my name means. I'm actually an alpaca, so be impressed.
Austin from Last Grey Waifu.
You make me laugh, bud. Thanks. What's up, guys?
And Zen from Zen and Cyrene, or Sean. Start using Zen's name.
Yeah, you can use either one of those. You can put them together in some kind of weird portmanteau if you wanted to, but I probably wouldn't respond to that.
We call you Shen.
I'm not sure how you would. Shen.
Or Zon.
Yes, Shen.
Zon.
Wei Shen!
Zon. I like that.
Zon.
So anyway, video games.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, good.
My god, that phone!
As you noticed, by the way, guys, Cameron's not here because his internet's dead, so we've just been having technical difficulties this whole time. So,
Yeah, this is a bad time for the podcast.
it is all starting terribly. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
this is great.
I'm so sorry.
So anyway, Rob, did you want to start us off with some video game news?
Yeah, sure. I would talk about Crusader Kings, but you guys don't play it, so I will not. But I will say that
you could mention it.
War of the Roses is having a free trial now. So there is a demo to play War of the Roses.
That is really cool. I want to try it.
Yeah, I do too, actually. I would like to see the difference between it and Chivalry.
Me too, yeah. From what I've seen, it doesn't look very fun, but I've heard good things about it nonetheless.
It looks alright, I think.
Yeah.
It looks pretty cool. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks clunky to me, from what
Yeah,
I've seen.
it
But
does.
again, I've never played it, so I can't put down a judgment yet. But I'm expecting not to like it as much as Chivalry.
Well, you know what? I honestly think the difference between third person and first person in that kind of game is totally important. Where it's just not as visceral or interesting when you go into third person, I feel.
Yeah, for sure.
For War of the Roses. Also, it hasn't had like it didn't launch with like objective based multiplayer or anything. Like I think they just recently added stuff like that in. No, they didn't. War of the Roses.
It's always been based on capture points.
Oh well, yeah, but okay. I don't mean. I mean objective-based multiplayer in the sense of Wolfenstein, not Battlefield 3. You know, like in the sense.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, like not traditional modes like capture the flag or something like that. But yeah, like Chivalry. You know, Chivalry has it like where you gotta kill the trebuchet and stuff like that, doing different interesting things like that. And I guess it's an unfair comparison because Chivalry does it, and the two are very similar.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it lends itself to that type of game. But that being said, I think that lends itself to any multiplayer game. I really think more objective-based multiplayer should be in games.
Yeah, me too. I agree completely. So yeah, I definitely want to try that out. But we can't really talk about it because none of us have played it.
Yeah, right.
So
All right. Well, fair enough.
Public service announcement.
You got next news topic?
Yeah.
Next on the list is have you guys heard about the Shadowrun Returns game? It was a Kickstarter game.
I remember you showed me something about it a long time ago, but I don't remember it.
Yeah, well, it's
Shadowrun Returns.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I link dumped all the links before we did the news.
I'm skimming as we speak.
I saw that, and I mean, I understand the screenshots are.
Shadowruns? Yeah, basically they just released screenshots.
Yeah, but
it looks
they're not
great.
real screenshots, right? I mean, they're just like kind of like mock-ups.
No, these are actually screenshots from the game now.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
These are legit screenshots from the game, which is
okay.
pretty cool. And the art style looks great. So in case you guys didn't know, Shadowrun is actually a very storied franchise, but think XCOM. It's kind of like that kind of a turn-based tactical shooter type of thing. But basically, the draw to it is it's in this like modern day kind of like near future cyberpunk-esque world that also has like magic and elves and orcs and stuff. So,
Huh.
yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
It's
Interesting.
pretty cool, and it has a storied history, and they kickstarted the game and got a buttload of money for it. So it's pretty cool to see, new footage and stuff of it. Like very similar to Wasteland 2, which looks awesome as well,
Yes.
and that got kickstarted, and that looks
Yes.
fucking amazing.
Yep.
Like,
I'm actually looking more forward more to that, even though I didn't kickstart any of those than I am Shadowrun. Goodness me, why did the name just escape me there? It's been like 5 minutes.
I might be inclined to agree because I don't know. I think I don't really understand Shadowrun so much as I totally understand Wasteland because it's just Fallout. It's just a remake of Fallout 1 and 2 and stuff. So
Yeah, and Fallout 1 was based. I mean, it was inspired at least in part by Wasteland anyway. So
right. Oh, other way around actually. I think.
the other way around.
Yeah, I think they made Fallout 1 and 2, and then Brian Fargo. The company closed down, and Brian Fargo couldn't acquire the rights to Fallout, so he just made Wasteland.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well that makes sense then.
Yeah. I could be totally wrong, and you could be right, but I'm
Well,
pretty sure that's what it is. I'm pretty sure that's
I'll
what
just look it up real quick.
Yeah, let's see.
Wasteland was released in 1988. So
Wow.
That's
pretty
Yeah.
old.
Jesus.
Yeah, was it like
yeah,
text-based?
well, Fallout was based on Wasteland.
Yeah, you're right. You are right. Well, so then basically what I said, except add Zen's part, so he couldn't acquire the rights to Wasteland at the time, I think. Is what happened.
Yep, and it's
I'm not really a
back.
huge fan of post-apocalyptic games in general.
Yeah.
Especially Fallout. 'Cause I played Fallout New Vegas at a friend's house, and I know it's supposed to be barren because it's post-apocalyptic. I can't say words, but it's too barren. Yeah, it's too barren. It's not exciting enough. Like you walk through like a desert forever, or there's just nothing, and it's not very exciting to me. I guess that just might be personal taste, but.
Yeah.
Post-apocalyptic dookie games.
Can't say post-apocalyptic.
Whenever
can
I
ya?
can't say a word, I just make up words.
Well, if you do get a copy of it on the PC, say somebody, I don't know, however you manage to get a hold of it, go mod it. Then it'll be a lot faster for you. You'll be able to add a sprint button and all kinds of cool shit.
That might be good, because that's the one thing I remember I was so much walking.
Wait, New Vegas doesn't have a sprint button?
It doesn't, no.
Oh, man.
No, you have to mod it in.
That's
Interesting.
I always found it really frustrating in Fallout 3 because you would see these advertisements for the mechanical horse throughout the game, and then you'd get pieces of the mechanical horse, and it's just like, oh, dude, this is badass. Like, at the end of the game, I'd be able to craft a mechanical horse and ride around, and it'd be super fast and badass, and you can never do that. I don't think they even added that in an expansion. Yeah.
No. It actually, I mean, it's not going to attack you, and you can't ride it, but they actually do exist.
Really?
Yep, in the expansion. In one of the expansions.
Oh,
I'm not going
the
to spoil it,
expansions.
but... Yeah.
All right. Well, I wanted to ride one. It seems
Wait,
so
yeah, so
cool.
there's a horse, but you can't ride it?
Nope.
That's such a cock tease.
Yeah.
why?
You can't write anything in any of the newer Fallout games anyway. I know there is a mod for New Vegas where they added in a motorcycle which you can ride. But as for the base game, nah, you can't write anything.
That's unfortunate.
Except in the
so
story-based
cool.
sequence, of course.
I mean, I guess it makes sense because then you'd have to add in like a whole other physics engine on top of it. But
Right.
it would be so badass. Like,
It
that would
would
be so
be.
badass. I would totally, I don't know. They could just like half-ass it like they did in Skyrim and just make it like
I was
a
going to
horse
say,
that-
yeah.
Yeah. Just make it just
Yeah.
make it like you walking except kind of shittier. And a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, segue! Skyrim Dragonborn has just came out on PC. The new expansion.
Ah, yeah, I heard about that.
I'm
It's
just
the
going to
first-
wait.
Yeah.
It's the first Skyrim expansion that made me, like, even vaguely interested.
Yeah.
But that said, I don't think I'm going to get it. But I really liked Morrowind, and it would be cool to walk around and
Oh,
see
right,
Morrowindy
right.
stuff in Skyrim.
Right, there's that part. too,
But,
yes.
yeah. Did you liked Morrowind as well, Zen?
You know, I haven't played past like the first 2 hours of it, so I can't say either way.
Right. Yeah, I was super into Morrowind. long time ago, like when it came out on Xbox. I actually lived with a guy who had an Xbox, and I played a bunch of that.
Oh, okay.
And it was like unbelievably cool. So I have a lot of nostalgia for it, even though I can recognize now that it was a pretty poorly balanced game, and there's a lot of problems with it. But it's still, I have a lot of love for that game. So it would be cool to walk around in Morrowind. But $20 cool? I don't know.
But that's the thing, though. I mean, my friends, they liked Morrowind because they could abuse the shit out of it. Like, you know, they'll just do all kinds of weird shit and their thing was funny. And I thought that was kind of cool hearing about it, too.
Yeah, that is cool. I'm talking more like it was broken in that if you know what you're doing, the game is just, you can just dissolve the game. Like, there's no game there anymore. It's like, you know, I want money. Well, I'll just level up my mercantile skill and get bribe this merchant with a lot of money, and then I can literally sell something to her and then buy it back for less than I sold it. And then repeat that and just have infinite money. It's like, oh, come on, really? Like, how could you make that oversight?
Well, that's absurd, though. I mean, for at least when it comes to my friends, anyway, I thought they were kind of clever I thought if they had thought about it, probably they just read it from somewhere or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
I don't know. Like, I figured it out myself just because I was like trying to spend money to level mercantile.
Right.
And then eventually I realized, oh, I'm getting mercantile and making money.
Right.
It's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a difficult thing to figure out, and there's exploits like that throughout the game. It's really silly.
There was a problem like that in Skyrim that involved making armor. Like, if you just had a little bit of time on your hands, you could just go
make iron daggers.
Iron daggers. Yep. All day, every day.
Just sell. I spent hours. Making
it cost you like 10,000 gold to get your smithing to level 99. It was pretty silly.
And you get the best armor, and then the game was easy.
Yep.
Yeah,
I did that.
Yeah, you can avoid that, but why would you put something or have that in the, like, it makes me feel like you're intentionally doing something slower than you can to level up.
Like, well, I mean,
when you go into something to try to level up smithing, you're going to go in and you're like, okay, what's the fastest way I can do this? Because it's really boring pressing the A button over and over. And when you find out that the fastest way is like extremely easy and takes like maybe 2 hours max, it's a bummer.
I think one of the weaknesses of like all the Elder Scrolls games has been, well, I mean, like, not just, well, the crafting has been better in previous games. Skyrim, the crafting was a piece of shit. I liked the enchanting. That was kind of fun. They have to strip away enchantments from like items that you find. I thought that was cool. I like that.
Yeah, that was a neat mechanic.
But crafting has always been shitty. Also, like I was saying, the weakest thing in all the Elder Scrolls games is like the armors and weapons, because there's just straight upgrades. It's just like, you know, you do the elven and the glass and the obsidian or whatever it is and whatnot, and that's the same throughout every game. There's no interesting gear really.
Well, you know what the worst part is that there's like unique items that you can get from quests.
Oh.
And in fucking Skyrim, and I think Oblivion as well, I believe, those are leveled to when you get them. So there's this badass dagger, but if you go and do the quest at like level 15, then the quest is balanced to a level 15, and you get a reward balanced to a level 15, and then your dagger's fucking ruined because you can't get it at a high level and have it be badass.
Yeah. A lot of games tend to get hard to get or unique rewards. They're really bad at making them valuable, because for situations like that where you go in and you get it and it quickly becomes replaced or isn't better than what you, or is barely better than what you have.
That's why I think leveled loot and leveled everything, leveled monsters and shit, is a really bad idea for an open world game like Skyrim, because it makes you can't get consequential anything, because even the most greatest badass, like, you go and kill a fucking god, but if you do it at level 10, then it's still easy for a level 10 and you get shit that's very quickly outstripped. It makes the whole world feel silly and contrived.
I think we're going from one extreme to the other, though, right? Like, because like it could be the Elder Scrolls way or it could be the Diablo way, and I think there could be a happy medium in between, where
I'm sure there's a happy medium.
Sure,
yeah.
Because you don't want it to where it's just like a 0.01% drop. Like, it should be like maybe just a really hard boss that no matter what level you are, it's a really difficult boss. And you have to go, and don't put limits on it either. Borderlands pissed me off with this one, Borderlands 2, in that you have to have like a group of 5 to do it.
Fuck that.
It's like, no, don't limit me from doing it, because let me have.
Because I don't have friends.
Yeah, I know friends. Make it challenging, and then the reward feels rewarding. You're like, yes,
Right.
I got this. It's difficult.
Right, exactly.
And it's useful.
Yeah, and then you get a cool thing.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things I appreciated about Fallout New Vegas versus the other Bethesda / Gabriel games is that I could walk out and just not too far away from the beginning area and just completely get destroyed by a Deathclaw. I like that. You know, I like thinking,
same.
you know what, I'm coming back for your ass. I'm going to come back when I'm like level 40 with big old guns and I'm going to blow you away. Just you wait. You know, that kind of
It's
a
so
thing.
important for open world games.
Yeah.
You can't make an
Fallout
open
3
world
was
game and then say,
terrifying.
hey, you can do anything at any time.
It makes you feel like a god. Like you're not
Yeah.
supposed to be in this world.
Oh.
Like you don't fit.
What
Yeah,
really,
well, it makes things feel consequential.
yeah.
It
What
makes
I
it feel
really
like, okay, I
liked-
leveled up and it did something.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say what I really liked.
Rob?
Are you there?
Oh, god damn it.
No, you're here. You're here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, hey.
Yeah, I think you just lagged for like 10 seconds behind.
Oh, that'll be
For a little while.
great for your editing later.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be fun.
Anyway, yeah, that what I really liked about Fallout 3 was that like I thought that game was so open to you as soon as you got out of the vault. Like as soon as you got out of the vault, you were open to do whatever the fuck you wanted, which I was really excited about because like talking to my friends who had played Fallout 3, they had a completely different experience. They went down a completely
Right.
different road
Yeah.
and had completely different experiences of what they did in the beginning part of the game. And I thought that was so cool. I thought that was like I painted my own story, which I think is so great. I think there should be more games that really give you that kind of freedom with maybe procedural generation. Maybe I don't know.
That would
you
be
can
really neat as well,
Paint your
yeah.
own story. You know, I think that's so great.
Yep.
Wouldn't it be
Speaking
awesome?
of,
Technology. That's going to be the norm. Open world games will have a lot of randomness to them.
I hope so.
I
mean, you
hope
can
so.
see games like Minecraft and Starbound and Terraria that are very simple in terms of art and gameplay and design, but because of the random aspect, it makes people come and play it for hundreds of hours,
Yeah.
even though it's such a simple idea.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
when we
agreed.
move that to a big game like The Elder Scrolls, it's going to be huge. It's going to be
I've always
an
wanted
amazing
like
experience.
a first-person roguelike. I think that would be a lot of fun.
That'd be great, yeah. I was thinking about actually oddly enough, there is one that I know of. I forget the name right now.
What?
I can find it. Yeah. It's very, very early in development, and it doesn't really look
Okay.
like it, will pan out. But it looks pretty cool. Like it's a cool idea. Let me go on Pixel Prospector. By the way, I just want to plug Pixel Prospector. It's a really good site if you want to see indie games, BT Dubs. Let me see if I can find it.
Yep. I agree with that assessment.
Yeah.
I endorse this message.
Brought to you by
But anyway, I was about
Pixel
to segue from open world nonlinear experiences to The Witcher 3. It's been announced.
Yeah.
And it is going to be both of those things. Open world nonlinear Witcher 3 sounds really exciting to me.
Mhm.
Because The Witcher 2 did a lot of things right, but the linear story I felt like was kind of a knock against it. Like it didn't really, like, you could wander around a lot, but you couldn't really do much as a result of being tied down to the story.
Yeah. Well,
So I'm really, really excited about the idea of a non-linear Witcher game. I think that's
Yeah.
going to be badass as hell.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's going to be great. That said, though, like, I like, when I was playing The Witcher 2, I never felt, like, really that tied down because it felt like I was naturally progressing. But, yeah, I mean, open world is always going to
Yeah.
be better. Open world is always going to be
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
I agree with you. Like it handled it very well, but I think it's
Yeah.
going to take it to a whole new level to be
Yeah,
able to
definitely.
just have an open world and be able to wander around. That's going to be so badass. I can't
Mm-hmm.
even express.
I completely
Witcher
agree.
2 was awesome. Yep. Also, Geralt has a beard.
Yep.
Just throwing that out there.
Bearded Geralt.
So that's exciting too. White beard. Yep.
Beards are always good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
It
actually,
improves every single game.
the side news story to that, the thing with Witcher 3, is before it was actually announced, there was like a little hint that was in whatever. Oh man, I forget which game. There was a hint about that the new open world quote unquote game would be in CD Projekt Red's Red Engine 3. which they released some info about Red Engine 3, and that was it inevitably became Witcher 3. I mean, they ended up announcing it like a week later, but
Sure.
yeah, like the Red Engine 2 was awesome for Witcher 2. Like that was such a beautiful game. So
yeah,
Red
it's
Engine 3,
unbelievably good looking, really.
Yeah. What I'm curious about is I wonder if they're going to go the way of... I don't think anybody's going to go the way of Unreal, but, like, if they're going to go the way of Unreal/CryEngine, right, and they're going with Red Engine 3 as, like, you know, an engine that people can license and use, that'd be very interesting. I would be very interested to see. Like, I don't know what their physics system is really like. It was kind of almost non-existent in Red Engine 2.
Yeah, pretty much.
The lighting stuff is
great. Which I don't have a problem with at all. Like, physics engines at this point, it's like you get a lot of Skyrim shit when you like walk past something on a table and it just flies against the wall and you're like, oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
I prefer for things to just sit still rather than that. We are getting better at it, yeah. I don't have a problem with the progression, but right now physics engines are more often silly than
they're
cool.
silly. Very silly. I think that's going to be one of those things that we look back on. Like, you know how like we look back on, like, say, like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and we laugh at the mitten hands? I think that's going to be a thing that we look back on and laugh. You know, it's like
same. Yeah, well, I mean, we don't even have to. We don't have to look back at that from 10 years in the future. We can laugh at it right now.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, it just like seriously, just walk around in a house in Skyrim and shit will just scatter and act in bizarre ways. You don't. It's not like a hard to replicate bug or something. It's just how the physics are. It's silly, man.
Well, that was the best part of, like, I think that's what everyone who I've ever seen play Skyrim is as soon as they enter Skyrim and they go to the Jarl's house, where he has, like, the big
they just
long
jump on the
table,
table, yeah.
You jump on the table and you kick all the food because it's hilarious. And they don't care.
Everything's so
food.
floaty.
Yeah.
Like just drifts.
Oh, it's great.
So
everything's made out of fucking
I'll tell you
balls.
what I did with this physics in Skyrim. I discovered that you can put down a cauldron on the floor and you can push NPCs out of the position, right? So just put a cauldron in between you and NPC and you can just push them off the way. So that one preacher in the middle of Whiterun who was like, "Rise up, children of the Empire!" Oh god, I hated him so much.
Yeah, I killed that.
So I pushed him out of the way. I pushed him out of the way and I put a fire rune in that place. And then I just waited for him to run back.
That's really funny.
I made a video of that,
That's a good
actually.
idea.
I'll show it to you later.
Good idea.
On.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. I was hoping that story was going to end. You pushed him out until you found a dragon, and then the dragon.
No, he'll run back eventually. He's scripted to always go back to that position, and that's why I put a fire rune down there.
Well, you guys know the
that's very clever.
The bucket head thing, right? That you can do in Skyrim.
The what now?
What thing?
Basically, if you go into a shopkeeper's house and you take a bucket, and all you have to do is put it on his head, and you can steal whatever the fuck you want. It's so good.
That is unbelievable. I can't believe that's like a thing. Like I can't. It surprises me so much that the physics engine is robust enough for that to work.
Yeah.
You know, like all you need is AI who realizes, hey, what's this asshole doing putting a bucket on my head? And it's amazing.
Well, I think it's the kind of thing is like they
silly.
wanted like advanced AI that didn't like, you know, scope you out and they'd have to get line of sight on you and that's all cool except when you put a bucket on the head of an NPC and then you could steal all his stuff, you know? Because it is shitty, like old AI where it would just like find you despite the fact that you were hiding or something. Like that's always shitty.
Sure.
But
yeah, they just home in on you.
They still kind of do that.
Yeah, it's tough to make good AI.
It is, yeah. I mean,
AI is just insane.
Yeah, I mean that.
Speaking of
whoever makes AI, I give them props because that is so difficult. You're basically trying to emulate human behavior, so I mean that's pretty
unbelievably difficult. Yeah,
extremely complex.
Yeah. But speaking of like trying to break games and do funny things, a lot of people know that I've been trying to learn speedrun of Twilight Princess, and the one thing I'm surprised about is how much I'm learning about the way the game is designed. Because you have to do things, and you're breaking the game, essentially. An example would be you have a boomerang in the game that makes a tornado, for anyone who doesn't know. And if you throw it, the game wants you to look at where you're throwing it, so it automatically Z-targets you to where you throw the boomerang.
Right.
But if you throw the boomerang in a place that is a void that doesn't have a surface on it, the game doesn't know like where the Z target. It thinks that you're Z targeting straight ahead, and so if you do a jump attack, you'll jump an extremely long distance because the game is so confused, and you can literally jump to places you're not supposed to jump to just because the game is programmed to lock your Z target when you throw the boomerang.
It's pretty funny.
It's things like that that are just hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, well,
speedrunning is so interesting to me because you have to learn those things, those little like intricacies of where people fucked up when they were programming, essentially, and then use that.
Yeah,
it's interesting to see that sort of thing. That's one of the reasons I like speedruns a lot.
I think
even just
go ahead. No, I was just gonna say it's just funny because the glitches that speedrunners exploit are just things that game developers, there was no chance they were ever going to find it. Like, for instance, the skip in Ocarina of Time that they discovered like a year ago that makes you be able to... Yeah, where it warps you to the end of the game from the first dungeon boss. And where it's like that's just something... Like, you have to do such a complex series of things that took them 10 plus years.
For you.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
it's so ridiculous. You get some bugs, you put the bugs down, then you pick the bugs back up. You do a couple of flips, move to a certain direction, go towards a pillar, then you backflip into the warp and pull out your ocarina and shield at the same time. Then you wait an exact amount of time, let go of that, and then you have to count the specific frames and then die. Or no, in this one you have to go through the door, and you have to go through the door at the right frame, which it assigns a number to when you leave, so that's where it warps you. It warps you to where the numbers. It's fucking mind-boggling.
Yeah, and it's like
how did you?
It took them 10 years or 10 plus years to figure that out. Like that's the kind of thing that game developers are like, okay, well, there's no way we could have bug tested that. There's no fucking way that we could have ever bug tested that. There's no way. It's impossible.
Yeah,
like
there's a funny one in Twilight. It's a great example of what the game doesn't know how to deal with. Is that there's a scene where you don't have to, but the optimal way to do it is to trigger the cutscene as a wolf, but you're supposed to be a human in this scenario. And so you trigger a cutscene, and the game doesn't know how to load the wolf textures into the human shape that's supposed to be in the cutscene.
Oh, man.
And it goes bonkers. The textures just go insane. I have to show you guys a video of it, or you have to watch me do it. It's the funniest thing in the world, because the whole screen will flash. You'll get like these techno color triangles. It's the weirdest thing in the world. Speedrunning, you find a lot of silly things like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep, cool stuff.
That's pretty funny. Well, I guess we can move on to another news cockpit.
News cockpit.
We have entered the news cockpit, folks, and
here live from the news cockpit is news correspondent Rob. How's the weather up there, Rob?
Yeah, you're an airplane.
Now you're an airplane.
I have to tell all the news as an airplane. Oh, Cam.
Yep.
Anyway, DayZ has a dev blog, so that's pretty cool. There is video footage of, and it's not DayZ. It's not DayZ from Arma 2. It is the DayZ standalone. They have a dev blog. They put up their first video, so you can see people running around in DayZ, which is pretty cool. I am pretty excited to play that game. I will be totally honest.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, I always wanted to play the mod version, but it never worked because my computer was slow. But yeah, I didn't get to read much of that article. But the one thing I did read, which was pretty cool, was that to find items aren't just going to be lying on the ground anymore. They're going to be hidden behind things or inside things, which is something that seems so simple, but really has never been done to that extent. Like just hiding an item behind. I mean, yeah, it has been done, but I mean,
have you ever played Skyrim?
I'm really trying to phrase this the right way because I know it seems silly. Like, oh, you mean like inside a dresser, like Skyrim, like you just said. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, items will be in places that you actually have to look for instead of just being lying around.
Actually,
like or just in a chest. Like,
yeah, that's a totally new thing for video games is hidden items.
Can I actually relay a story of something that happened that was fucking crazy in Skyrim anyway, or just the kind of thing? This is why I don't besmirch Skyrim as much as people do, because I still had a great experience with it. So one time Dennis was over at my house, and we had nothing to do, or he had nothing to do. I was playing video games on the computer, so he was playing on my Xbox, Skyrim, and he decided to like say fuck the main quest. As soon as he got out of the dragon burnt out town, he just went the opposite direction of where you had to go. Anyway, he's running around for like a couple hours, not really doing anything important. But then he finds this little house in the middle of the woods, and he goes into it, and it's like, oh, it's kind of boring, just stealing some stuff. And it's like, oh, there's a downstairs, let's go downstairs. And then you're just running around, and then all of a sudden it's just like, this is a weird bookshelf, and move the bookshelf over a little bit, or it has like the opportunity to move the bookshelf, and we wouldn't have noticed it unless like just a very specific series of events had happened. Move the bookshelf, there's a button, you click the button and it opens up this secret passageway to this hidden dungeon that is part of some other quest, I think. But it was just like, it was just so cool just to have that kind of experience, I think, of something that's like hidden and you just found it naturally. That I thought was even better than necessarily finding it through story, you know? But, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
totally.
Just a side
you find it
story.
through story, there's nothing impressive about that at all.
Right, it's not
It's
secret.
like, that's been done a million times. Just like, click the button behind the bookcase and go in there.
Yeah. But I thought that was cool. But, yeah, I mean, DayZ hopefully is going to have kind of
that is neat.
similar type of aspects to the gameplay. I mean, I'm sure they're going to have more stuff in the game, because like the Arma 2 engine really kind of limited them in a lot of ways, because it's not meant to be played in any of the fashions that, like, especially the inventory management. I'm sure that's going to be way better in the standalone.
Oh god, I hope so.
Oh, wow.
And the netcode. The netcode by far is the worst thing about DayZ. It makes it almost impossible to play because it's so frustrating.
Yeah, I don't know. The inventory was pretty bad, though. I mean, you have to like take a tutorial like class to learn how to use that fucking inventory.
Well, but the inventory is one of those things where once you understand it, it works fine.
Yeah.
It's just confusing at first. The netcode is something that you can never fix. It just plagues the entire game forever.
And in fairness to them, like, the game is meant to be, like, Arma 2 is meant to be a fucking military simulation, so it's not supposed to have any RPG elements at all. So they had to just make that shit up.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I think the inventory system is actually taken straight from Arma 2.
Right.
Like, that's just how inventory works in Arma 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. It is a little silly, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's totally silly. I agree with that.
I'm sure it's going to be way better. I'm sure it's going to be it'll be better in the new one.
Yeah.
I
hope you retain the ability to sneak things out of people's backpacks without them noticing, though. Because that is hilarious. Because you can just be walking around with somebody who you think is your friend, and they could just be surreptitiously like, you're like, hang on, I'm going to check my map, and they're like, oh, okay, and then just pull some meat out of your backpack.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's good, like, emergent gameplay. That's everything about DayZ that's good is just emergent gameplay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's so much emergent multiplayer. It's good.
Yeah, it's just the sociological experiment, isn't it? Right? Like how
totally
much
is.
do you trust
Totally
people? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no teams, there's no assigned, like, you're the good guys, these are the bad guys. There's no anything, there's no suggestion on how to interact with other players. There's just, here's some other players. If you work together, you can get some great stuff. If you kill each other, you can steal their good stuff. What do you do?
Right. I think that's the main draw, too, because if you wanted to play, like, a game where you shoot zombies, you just go play Left 4 Dead or something. I mean,
totally,
this is a game where you're supposed to interact with people, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
That defines the gameplay. Something on the outside is defining it. It's the reason Trouble in Terrorist Town is fun, too. It's not necessarily the game itself that's fun. It's interacting with other people.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Trouble in Terrorist Town times a million.
Yeah.
You know, because
you die.
You die, you're dead. Everything is so much more consequential, and there's just so much less, like, game structure to it. Like, Trouble in Terrorist Town, there's still, like, teams and goals. DayZ, there's just nothing. There's just do whatever the fuck you want, man. You want to get, like, 10 friends together and build a helicopter and go fuck people up? Go for it. You want to just, like, wander around and scrounge for food and, like, try to kill everybody you come across? Go for it. You want to, like, try to make a little group of friends and go raid a town? You could do that. It's totally emergent gameplay, or emergent multiplayer. It's so good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I would love to see more
forward
to the crafting system, which they've kind of teased as, like, a thing that they're going to have more crafting of, which could be awesome. I mean, like, could you imagine making, like, a small settlement eventually with just a group of survivors that you found? Like,
that would be so good.
Imagine a wandering horde, because hordes happen in DayZ, you know, like, hordes just show up and they wander.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, just imagine having to defend your crafted civilization in the middle of nowhere against like your little fort.
Yeah, and imagine like somebody coming to the gates with a bunch of zombies behind them and being like, "Please help me," and you don't know what to do because you don't know that guy, and he could be drawing those zombies on purpose to steal all your shit, but you need him to help fight off the horde, you know? And then like and he could totally backstab you once he's in there. Oh man.
Yep.
So cool.
Yeah, I'll have to wait and see. Is there any slated like release for that game, or is it just a when it happens thing?
Yeah.
Totally when it happens. They're saying we're not rushing it. It's gonna be done when it's done. We want to do it right, and I totally approve of that. Because I don't want another DayZ that's a mess like the first one is. You know, like for all its good points, it's a super messy game. And that's ultimately why I stopped playing it, because it's such a pain in the ass to do anything in that game. Because it's like, you know, you get surrounded by zombies and you shoot it directly in the head and it like warps to the right and your bullet doesn't hit it. And you're like, oh, come on. And then you get killed by that. Or like a zombie spawns on top of you and shit like that. You know, it needs a lot of ironing.
Yeah.
You know, before it's really playable.
It is unfortunate that that's the way it kind of works, and that games, really good games that aren't AAA titles, are always when it's done releases.
I know, like why can't we have a good, insanely hardcore experience that's also polished? It's never both, you know. It's either like a linear holding your hand piece of shit that's super polished, or it's like just a buggy mess with an awesome concept like DayZ.
Well, I think we talked about that on the last podcast, actually. Why that can't be and will never be, unfortunately.
Did we?
Yeah, just audience.
Well, it's
you were asleep.
It's like the more...
No, wait, that was Cam. Never mind.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, well, basically the more, like we were talking about with MMOs and stuff, is the more money you pump into a project, the more backers you have, which are private holders, and they want it to be as homogenized as possible so that they make the most return on investment. And the more money you pump into a project, the higher quality it gets, yet the more homogenized and less hardcore the gameplay gets, because, you know, people want return on investment and they want sure things. And so and then you make Star Wars The Old Republic as opposed to a real Star Wars MMO that would be great, that people would love and play forever, you know, but you'll get the World of Warcraft clone instead. And that's sadly the reality.
Well, here's somebody in the chat just posted what I think is the reason why we don't get good polished games. They say they're concerned about doing a lot of progression through the game and then dying and losing everything, and that's kind of a turnoff for them. You're not the target audience for a game like DayZ, and that's fine. And there are a lot of people like you, and that's why DayZ will never be polished, because people look at permadeath and go, that's icky. Whereas for people like us, I don't know about you guys, but I love permadeath.
Same
like,
here.
It's such a good way to introduce like consequentiality into a video game and make me actually care about it, because it's so hard for me to care about a game where there aren't consequences.
Mm-hmm. You have to force it on me, though. You know?
Like
I will be honest.
And that's what I was about to say. I don't like when it's a decision or in a game where it doesn't fit.
Well, the game has to be designed around permadeath.
Right.
Yeah, like there's Terraria, which has permadeath, but it's like, why...
Yeah, the game
Terraria?
isn't designed around it.
Likely to die in Terraria.
Yeah, right.
Why would you... In a game where a game where you're likely to die should not have permadeath. Honestly.
Well,
I mean, in a game where you can control very well whether you're going to die,
I think
that should happen.
I think it can be done well. Like, you look at like Don't Starve, where it's permadeath. I think that's done well. The same with Project Zomboid. I think it does a really good job. If you guys have ever played Project Zomboid, obviously it's not out yet, but how the game opens is it starts you on a black screen that says, "This is the story of how you die." So they're not saying like there's a way that you can win the game. There's no winning the game. You will die eventually. It may take you 3 years of playing the game, but you will die. And I think you can base a game around that, and it can still be fun. However, if you make it different, like if you make it like Diablo 3, where it's like, well, you can also have permadeath if you want, and then I'm not going to do it. You have to force me into it.
Yeah,
and you have
exactly.
to design the game around it.
Yeah, well, it's not even... It's not that you have... Yeah, it's entirely the game needs to be designed around it, or it's going to be shitty. Because the games are designed where you die a few times until you learn what you're doing, and if the game is designed where you have to die a few times at every step, then it's going to be incredibly frustrating if you try to put permadeath in there.
Right.
Permadeath games need to be designed with in mind that people are going to die forever, like you look at Isaac or something. It's not a long game. It's not a horrendously long or difficult game, and that makes it not such a pain in the ass when you die. You can't do permadeath with like a, I'm trying to think of an example. Like you couldn't make a permadeath Skyrim.
The point.
I think you could, but
permadeath.
No. I mean, you couldn't just introduce permadeath.
Oh
to
yeah,
Skyrim,
definitely not. Yeah.
Like you can't just say like, here, play Skyrim, but no saving, and if you die, you're dead.
Right.
You need to introduce elements to make permadeath work.
Yeah. Permadeath needs to be where you like. It shouldn't be a scenario where you die, or you want to throw your controller across the room, and you're angry that you just lost everything, and it's horrible. It should be where you die, you feel disappointed, and then you're like, oh, I made a mistake, I have to start over now,
and you're like, I want to play
fuck this shit,
again.
I'm never playing it again, this is bullshit, and this shouldn't be like that.
Well, I mean, there are games that work like that though. Like if you guys have ever played Realm of the Mad God, that is absolutely a fucking throw your keyboard into your monitor game when you die. But that's what makes it so interesting too. It feels so good to not die because it feels so bad to die.
I think a game and just a series that handles it well is XCOM. I think they do a good job with handling permadeath, where it's just like they force you to become attached to your characters. It's not the end of the world when one of your characters dies, but it sucks. Like especially if it's one.
And it's also the end of the world if you lose the campaign. Like it has permadeath of individual characters, but it also has permadeath in the sense of you can lose the game.
Right. Yeah.
And that's handled well as well.
A chance to lose, especially if you're playing on Iron Man.
Yeah, also, I love the idea of having a campaign where you can lose. That was such a good concept to go with.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's for Access all over, right? Like, Civilization is the same way. You can totally lose in Civilization. And,
exactly. It gets so boring when you're playing a game that's just like a linear first-person shooter, and if you die, you just respawn, and you die, and you respawn until you get it. It doesn't feel like you're really doing anything, but if there's like in XCOM, every battle has relevance, because if you lose too many battles, you're going to lose the game. And you can't go back and retry a battle. Well, you can if you're not playing Iron Man.
Well, actually, Pikmin is a good example, to 101.
Yeah, Pikmin, absolutely.
That's a very famous and popular and well-loved, basically, roguelike. So, definitely. I think that's
in the era Pikmin came out on, the system Pikmin came out on the GameCube, it was unbelievable what Pikmin did.
Yeah, I mean, Pikmin is a whole
looking
other
back
category.
on it, at the time. Yeah, at the time I just accepted it, but looking back, it's like, holy shit! You have this cutesy little game, and if you don't manage your shit right, you're gonna lose the game after hours and hours, and you have to start all over. It's crazy. It's so good.
Yeah, I think that's something that's handled really poorly today. Is game overs like.
You don't get a game over anymore.
You don't get game overs in games because the game's too easy. Or B, in which case, I have an example. The game over is just, it doesn't matter. The game over completely doesn't matter. And playing Twilight Princess now, there's a game I never, when I played it normally, got a game over on, because it's really easy not to die. But now that I'm doing all these weird things that I could easily die doing, I get a lot of game overs. And in Twilight Princess, if you get a game over, it starts you in the same room you got the game over in.
Yes, come on, that's not really game over.
Health.
Well, I mean, that's the thing.
Lose nothing.
Well, but that's the thing, though, right? Is like if you don't make game overs an important factor of the gameplay with permadeath, right? What do you really gain of like I'm not subscribed to the notion that you should start at the beginning of the dungeon, because it's like that's not added difficulty, that's just adding frustration. You're artificially adding hours to your game because I just have to go through the same thing that I already did. And that's no fun. That's just kind of boring. I'd rather respawn in the same room, or you make dying a more consequential thing, because I still don't I don't think restarting in an area or something like that is even a reasonable punishment. You can either do it like one of two ways. You could do it the Meat Boy way, right? Or you could do it the Isaac way, I think, is probably a good way to phrase it, where it's like you die and then you're instantly back in, you're ready to do it again. Or Isaac, where it's like, well, that run's gone. You have to start over.
Yeah.
I think those are the two purest forms. I agree with you to a large
extent, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't necessarily hate it when a game like sends me back to the beginning of a dungeon, but I agree, it's not really difficult.
And I never meant that. I just meant that the way it's silly how.
Right. Yeah. No, I totally agree.
We can't find up. You need to be in a game. You need to be punished for making mistakes that big a mistake, dying, getting a game over. You need to be punished because you need to feel bad for doing it. Or if you happen, you're just like, oh well, whatever, I'll just keep going.
Yeah. Well,
unless it's a Meat Boy, of course.
It's perfectly possible to make a good game. Like, well, obviously Twilight Princess has done it, to make a game where you aren't really punished that much for your mistakes. Because it's like you're playing through a story, you're playing through the puzzles, and it's not trying to be a hardcore experience, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I was just using its game over
as
an example.
No,
ignoring the game itself.
Yeah,
Like,
and I wasn't saying that to you specifically. I was just saying that, like, the alternative is, like, sending, like, the older Zelda games where it's like, oh, you start at the beginning of the dungeon and have to walk back to that place that you were at. It's like, it's not really harrowing to get back there. It's just walking through the same rooms again. It's just adding time.
A good example, using another Zelda game that's not necessarily a game over, would be Majora's Mask, where if you reset time, you lose all your rupees and bombs and arrow. It's a minor punishment that makes you feel like you want to finish something before you reset time. Also, the fact that if you beat a boss, the area resets as well. It's a good punishment that's not too severe, that makes you want to not have to go through that punishment.
Man, I still to this day don't know how I feel about Majora's Mask. The 3-day limit. Because
I think it's great. Amazing.
It led to so much bullshit. Like you have this incentive to like reset time for no reason just because you're about to go into a dungeon and you're not going to have time. So you have to reset time, then walk back to the dungeon entrance and then go through the dungeon.
Yeah.
Because the alternative is going into that dungeon, you can't quite finish it on time. You're like on the boss fight when your time limit's up and you're like, fuck, now I have to do that shit again.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
I think that goes on to the fact that you mismanaged your time then. Because you have...
Well, no,
even if you have
I didn't.
a full day left, that's enough time to do a dungeon.
Well, maybe. I was a 12-year-old kid. I had to figure out the puzzles in the dungeon. I didn't know how long the dungeon was going to take. It was my first time through. I'm not using a guide. I don't know.
I know.
That's a difficult game. I'm not... Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't consider it mismanaging. It's like you're supposed to not know what you're doing. That's the point of a video game. You're not supposed to have the dungeon memorized and know, okay, I can get through it in this amount of time.
Well, if you're going into a dungeon with half a day left, then clearly that you can't be doing that.
Right, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I got to the dungeon entrance, and now it's like, well, fuck. It took me long enough to get to the dungeon entrance. I might as well just reset time and then walk all the way back to the dungeon entrance again.
No. There's a warp to every dungeon. In Majora's Mask, there's a warp at the very beginning.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Yeah. But still, it's just a waste of time. Like, I don't feel like it was handled as elegantly as it could have been.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness to Majora's Mask and its developers, that game was never actually supposed to be made. Like, the reason that it has all of the same models from Ocarina of Time is because the guy who is the creative director on every Zelda game since Majora's Mask started on Majora's Mask. And basically what happened is they made Ocarina of Time, and they were like, hey, we want to make a new game before GameCube comes out. And I have this cool idea kind of thing, and we could kind of just jump into it. But we don't have the time to make all the art assets and all that stuff. So let's just jump in and make it as quickly as possible. And they made Majora's Mask really quick based around a time mechanic because they were, crunched on time. And I think that's that's why it's such a, creative game. But I will say, though, the one thing that I disliked about Majora's Mask mostly is that you couldn't just skip to a point in time. Because there are some points where it's just like, all right, I have to wait for this side quest, so let's speed up time and then just sit here, probably throwing my boomerang at the wall over and over
and wait,
again.
Yeah, lots of waiting. Yeah, that's my whole issue with it, is pacing. Yeah. It made the pacing of the game really terrible a lot of the time.
Yeah, but like I said, in fairness to them, they made the game in like a year, so they didn't have time to make a lot of stuff.
Sure, it's absolutely a good game, and in terms of like how it was made, it's very impressive. But just judging it as a game, without any qualifiers, weird pacing, good game. That's all I intended to say. Not trying to shit on Majora's Mask.
Yeah, I mean,
I
think there's only one point in the game where if you warp to a certain point, you have to wait for an extended period. And I think it has to do with
there were so many side quests where you had to wait for a certain time of day.
Well,
every side quest.
The way that the skipping works is that you skip to either the beginning or the end of the day.
Well,
and a lot of the quests, and I guarantee it was intentional, either happen towards the early morning or the early night.
Yeah,
There's only one.
I mean,
where
that's
you actually
fine,
have to do
but like
something that's late in
here,
the
I think
afternoon.
just to kind of emphasize his point is like this is all well and good knowing the game now, but like for instance, you know the one thing where you get the bomb mask off the old lady who gets her purse stolen. Like the only way
Yes.
if you play that for the first time is to do that quest is to see it happen and then go back and wait for it to happen again. You know what I mean? Like it's great you can do it on the first day that you're in the game if you know that it's happening, but the first time you're never going to know and you have to sit and wait, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And all of the discovery of the quest is all sitting and waiting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sitting and waiting if you don't already know what you're doing in that game.
Yeah, that said, I still had a great time sitting and waiting, and I think
I
I
had a great time in the Majora's Mask
I
as
agree
well.
on both sides with you guys. I actually wanted to bring up.
It's a good game. Yeah,
point.
I'm
it's
not
a
trying
good
to
game.
disagree with Austin. I think at all.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it has bad pacing.
I want to bring up a point that actually Henri Kurikaze said, and I kind of want to expand on it. That about game over screens, right? He said a game over that leads to a bad ending for a video game. I think that's a fine idea too. Why not have it completely fundamentally change the story or the progression, right? Like I always thought this would be cool if you had missions in a game, right? And the fail isn't a game over, it's just you failed the mission and now see how the story progresses after that. That would be really cool. I think that would be great.
Heavy
if
Rain.
You could just that
Well,
would
that's
be so-
basically how
that's-
XCOM does it.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's cool, but that has to be specific. I think it's a little specific for certain games. I mean, it's a great idea. I'm not disagreeing, but
Yeah.
you'd have to have a game that has missions that couldn't.
Yeah, certainly. It's not going to work for
Yeah.
every story.
Yeah,
sure.
right.
Yeah.
True.
But,
I
but
mean,
it's a
even
neat idea.
even consequential things story-wise that you could just say different ending based on you failing that mission or something. Yeah, actually, Star Fox is a good example
Yeah,
and
well,
not
of it.
you know
fucking
what?
mass.
Those
I was
couple
about to say
missions-
Star Fox.
Yeah, where it's a couple
Yeah.
missions where I think there's 2 missions where you can just fail out of them, and it's just like it doesn't really like negatively impact you either way. It just changes the way the story progresses, and I like that.
Yeah, it makes you go to an easier mission instead of a harder mission.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're trying to do a run to like hard mode Venom, then you can't do it if you fuck up the missions, and so there is a consequence there. But yeah, it doesn't feel contrived. You just fail and be like, well, shit, now what?
Yep.
And Star Fox
I
is
think
basically a
it'd be good.
roguelike too, isn't it? Like, because if you run out of lives, you have to start
Yep,
from the
yep.
beginning, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not randomly generated, so it's not a roguelike
Right,
in that
yeah.
sense. But it is
That would
primitive,
be pretty
for sure.
awesome, though, wouldn't it? Procedurally
Yeah, it
generated
would.
Star
I
Fox.
would be totally
Shit.
down
Welcome
with that.
back to the past 15 years of everyone waiting for the new Star Fox.
Yeah, seriously.
So somebody go kickstart. Somebody kickstart randomly generated Star Fox like.
That would be amazing.
I will give you all of my money. Empty my bank account.
Star roguelike. Well, I mean, you have Star Citizen. That looks pretty
Star
cool,
Rogue.
but it's nothing like that.
Star Road Fox.
Star
Star-
Citizen does sound neat. Yeah.
Star Citizen looks real cool, which isn't really a news topic because there's nothing particularly new about Star Citizen, but it's been something that's been kind of in the public eye, or maybe in the private eye. Inside of this one private eye is just that Star Citizen is
Yeah.
captured inside of this one private detective.
Yeah, inside of Duck Judgment.
Yeah, Duck Judgment
Exactly.
is holding Star Citizen back. We have to all kill Duck Judgment in order to get Star Citizen released. So everyone, send us your knives. Green's address is 168. No, I'm kidding. But
But wait, isn't Duck Judgment the detective? Isn't Dick Judgment?
Oh
the
god, here we
bad
go
guy?
again.
Yeah, Dick Judgment's the bad guy. Duck Judgment is the private eye.
Yeah, so why is Duck Judgment holding him hostage?
who knows? I think
Yeah,
only
that's
Duck
deep.
Judgment knows. I think
That's-
only Duck
that's
Judgment
deep, Austin.
knows.
I know, we were all pondering that for a moment.
Yes, a Kickstarter for Pokemon Snap 2. That would be so cool.
Oh my god, Pokemon
With the
Snap
fucking
was so
Wii U
good.
controller.
Oh,
taking the
that would be
pictures with the
awesome,
Wii.
actually.
Oh fuck!
That would be so
Oh
cool.
not-
fuck!
They're totally
If that's
making
not
that.
already in development,
Yeah, they're totally
what the
making
fuck?
that. They're totally making that already.
They have
That would
to,
be so
please.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was
though.
in there. You even used it as a camera in fucking Zombie U, didn't you?
Did
Or
you
something.
really?
You like use it as like a
That's
scanner, basically.
cool.
Yeah, you can like look around the room with your Wiimote in Zombie U. I swear to
Fucking-
God, I saw something like that.
I love how
Oh,
we've moved
man.
from news topics to news topics we wish were news topics.
Yeah. Welcome to the game pitching podcast.
Yeah.
Pokemon Snap was the strangest little game, but it was so much fun.
That was badass. I loved that game.
That's a great game.
It was like because you weren't just taking pictures; you had to do things to make the pictures happen.
Yeah.
You had to force the pictures, and there were different scenarios for each picture you could take.
Well, what was cool
like
about
Pikachu
it?
and the log.
Yeah. What was cool about it is that it wasn't totally linear because you have to play levels multiple times, and you wanted to play levels multiple times because it's just like, oh, I could totally get that Charmeleon to evolve into Charizard if I knock his ass into the lava. Sorry, I ran out of breath there.
Yeah, it's like, you fucked up. You fuck up the first time, and you're like, okay, time to play again. A, I need to find the secret level here. B, I need to get some better pictures.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You got you could warp to different levels by having Pokemons affect your trail. Like
like Star Fox and stuff where like in that first level you can take like 3 paths.
Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was an awesome game, and it was such a simple concept too.
Totally.
It was
it must have
good.
It must have been pretty hard to program the scoring. I imagine.
Yeah.
That can't have been easy. But I mean, if they did it on the N64, I'm sure they could. do it again.
I still have like night terrors over like Professor Oak telling me if the picture is not centered enough.
Oh,
it's like, is this good? Is this good? Please! I tried my best to capture Mew.
And it makes that little like jingle noise. It's like either good or bad.
Yep. Yeah.
Jerome. It's like
Yeah.
Come on.
I also love to get to the final rainbow whatever to get Mew. You had to
spoiler alert.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You had to find the secret hidden pictures that are in like the terrain.
Yeah.
The Dugtrio.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That shit was so cool.
It's such. I'm remembering this game and like thinking like, oh, that was an alright game. No, that was a fucking fantastic game.
Yeah.
It was really neat.
And
Spyro. Oh shit. Here's the worst part about Pokemon Snap. As far as I know, there isn't a working emulation of it.
There isn't.
Like,
there isn't.
The textures fuck up.
I know.
So it's like you can play it, but when you're in the scoring phase, you can't actually see what's in any of your pictures.
Yeah.
What a bummer.
Yeah, it sucks really
Although
bad.
That's
the greatest problem of our time.
That said, I haven't tried, but I did. Okay, so basically there has always been, I forget which game it is. It wasn't F-Zero, it was something else. Some other game that I just couldn't play on an emulator that I loved playing on the N64, but I couldn't play it.
Is it a Gauntlet game?
Is it what?
Gauntlet?
No, I don't think it was. Does that not work either?
Okay.
There's a couple things that don't work. Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, there's a Gauntlet game that does not work. Rogue Squadron doesn't either. Come on.
I know, it's so unfortunate.
I own Rogue Squadron too, I think.
I do too. I'm looking at my N64 right now. You guys are making me want to plug it in and play through like all of Rogue Squadron and Pokemon Snap, but that doesn't work. But I did install the European version as opposed to the American version, the NTSC, and that one worked. So I have hope that maybe the EU version of Pokemon Snap, maybe that works. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, we gotta research this further.
Yeah, get our scientists on this.
Yeah, right,
Yep.
Parappa the Rappa is pretty awesome as well. We actually have more news topics. Actually, a very big news topic. If we could get out of nostalgia goggles, I think we're gonna gloss over at this point. Dead Space 3 has microtransactions because I don't think anybody really cares.
Yeah, Dead Space 3 has microtransactions.
Yeah.
So you know, for a single player game,
single
player game, you can pay to get like more med kits.
Yeah.
Good.
It's shitty. Apparently, they
Thanks,
fucked
EA.
up too because there's a really easy way to exploit it and get everything that you can get through microtransactions. And Gamefront has a video on how to do it for unlimited resources. So they fucked up real bad. But anyways, the microtransactions, that doesn't really matter. The bigger news: Gabe Newell and Bad Robot. Yes. Bad Robot, the studio behind the Star Trek movie and Cloverfield and stuff. J.J. Abrams' studio. J.J. Abrams, who popularly made Lost, and, he produced Cloverfield and directed Star Trek, and is going to be directing the new Star Wars film, which is pretty cool. Valve, Gabe Newell, and J.J. Abrams are working together to make a Portal or maybe Half-Life movie. Ballin'? I think that sounds pretty ballin' to me. I think that sounds pretty ballin'.
Yes.
I don't want Portal to
I'm
be
looking forward to
Lens
it.
Flare the movie again, but it would be awesome no matter what. I don't care if it's Lens Flare the movie. I think it would work in the Aperture Science facility.
Now, do you guys think that Chell and Gordon Freeman are going to talk in these movies?
Well, that's the weird thing, right? Like, I talked about this in one of my Isaac videos, and people kind of schooled me in the comments. Apparently, Chell is actually a mute. Like, they talk about it sort of in, like, the hidden lore, is that Chell is actually a mute. So you can, and I said that in the Isaac videos, like, the only way you can really make a silent protagonist is if you make them, like, story lore-wise an actual mute. Gordon Freeman isn't, however. It's assumed that he speaks, but there is also some hidden lore that says that he kind of stopped talking after the Black Mesa incident. So, I don't know. There are things that you could do.
Yeah, I also at the end of Portal 2, GLaDOS calls you a mute.
Yeah, right. She calls you a mute. Like, it's referenced several times in the Portal 2 campaign, but it's always in way... It's never like...
Yeah,
like,
it's self-referential.
Referenced as an actual... it's never referenced as an actual medical conditions. People just call you mute.
Right.
But that could just mean that you're choosing not to talk.
I think...
it doesn't necessarily mean that she can't.
I think it's supposed. I think like a lot of things in Portal 2, it's meant to be self-deprecating. It's supposed to be kind of farcical.
Yeah.
And making fun of the silent protagonist, but still, I mean, it's something. Excuse me, something that you could add in a movie. I think, honestly, I don't think I would have a problem with Gordon Freeman talking. I don't think it's the kind of thing where it's like Link, where I feel like I'm attached to the character because I know he's the character that I have in my head for Link. You know, I think Gordon Freeman is the otherwise. I think a lot of people know how Gordon Freeman would sound traditionally. He doesn't have to talk a lot.
Yep.
I don't think he needs monologues. But,
no, yeah. I don't think he would talk a lot.
Right.
That would be out of character.
But I don't think I would mind having Gordon Freeman talk.
Yeah.
This movie is... You can't go wrong with this movie.
Oh, they'll find a way.
You can go wrong.
Maybe.
Have you ever seen a...
my sentence first.
Have you ever seen a video game movie?
Look.
Well, I wasn't finished talking. You guys talked over me.
Okay.
Go for it, yeah.
I said you can't go wrong with this if you follow the game's story and listen probably to Gabe. He knows what he's doing.
Here's the thing.
It's not hard. It can't be hard.
Here's the thing. I want to say, and I've said this before in an Isaac video way back when. Now we consider comic book movies to be a big thing, right? Like every summer now, it's like they're going to be this new comic book movie like the Iron Man 3, and it's going to be awesome, and everybody's going to go see it, and it's going to be great. That hasn't always been the way. In fact, comic book movies for a long time are exactly what video game movies are like now, which is always shitty. They never really followed the story. Look at fucking Tim Burton's Batman 1 movie.
Repellent bat spray.
Yeah, they never really followed the actual story, even though actually the 60s Batman is badass in a completely different way. But anyway, and the directors never respected the art of it. They never really respected it. Like, Tim Burton famously said that he never read a comic book in his life, and no one would ever catch him reading a comic book in his life, because he was, like, ashamed of it. So, I mean, to make a Batman movie after being ashamed of reading comics seems kind of, silly. But I think it's the same way with video games. Like, if you look at, like, the Mario Brothers movie, which is hilarious and great in its own way, it has nothing to do with Mario Brothers. And if you look at all the other game movies that they come out with, right? Like, they come out with, like, Death Race or, like, Tron or something, like, games that don't have stories because the writers can make up whatever the fuck they want because they don't respect the craft. They just pick any license that they can get. But until like a good director was attached to a comic book movie, namely Chris Nolan when he made Batman Begins, who totally respected the art and totally respected Batman as a character, people were totally into that shit. I mean, Dark Knight was up for Oscars, and it literally has a very dramatic scene of a man in a bat suit arguing with a clown. So, I think anything can be done well. And
totally.
I think if anybody can do it well, J.J. Abrams can. So, I don't know.
I hope so, yeah.
I think it could. I think it could turn out really well.
Too many bad video game movies.
Yeah, but I think it can. I think it
for
can
me to be
start
enthusiastic.
like the comic book thing with Sam Raimi and Spider-Man and Chris Nolan and Batman. Like, I think J.J. Abrams can start a renaissance of good game movies. I think that could happen.
I hope so. That would be awesome. I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think me and Rob had a discussion about a Zelda movie for a long time.
Yeah.
It's such a gray area for that.
Did you guys see the joke trailer that was made for a Zelda movie?
IGN.
It was very old.
April Fool's.
Yeah, IGN's. Yeah, that was badass.
Dick April Fool's joke. Also,
it was such
by
an
the way.
asshole.
Yeah,
That's not even funny.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, haha, you got me. It's like, what the fuck,
The
man?
sad part was about that is that like it was so corny and so bad, but I loved it, and I was like, dude, I can't wait for this to come out. It was funny that it was like that, but it was just so like if you watch it, it's corny and bad and terrible, but it's just like, oh my god, it's gonna be so good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was surprisingly good.
Yeah,
especially given that they were just making it for a joke. Like I was impressed.
Terrible April Fool's joke. Let me just throw it out there again.
They did actually. They did the year after. Maybe not the year after. IGN actually does. Despite IGN being a terrible piece of shit place to be, they do make really good April Fool's joke. Like they one of the years they came out with a trailer for a Harry Potter TV show that actually looked really badass. It was like a Harry Potter TV show, but it was based like it was like the wizards were older and they were teenagers, and like they're actually like hunters. They're like bounty hunters and go after dark wizards and stuff. And it actually looked really badass. But it was an April Fool's joke, and it was not a show that was going to be made.
Who started the trend of like baiting people with cool ideas and making an April Fool's joke? When did that start?
That's always been the
like
case.
April Fool's joke is supposed to bait you with something that's stupid.
Yeah.
And be like, I'm not going to do that, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
New season of Firefly coming out. Just kidding.
Oh, that would be so
April
dick.
Fools.
Oh my god.
We could actually get the actors from Firefly in on it.
Yeah.
We're making a Star Fox roguelike. Just kidding, guys. I mean, we wouldn't do that.
That would be so frustrating. Blizzard does good April Fool's jokes too, actually.
Yeah, those are funny.
StarCraft Ghost for like 6 years. StarCraft Ghost for like 6 years. Yeah, this is April Fool's joke. I'm kidding, Blizzard, if you're watching. Mike Morhaime isn't watching, but no, yeah, but they have the one. They have the one where it's like they had all the Terran units become this giant transformer that destroyed everything. I thought that was really cool. It was a cool April Fool's joke.
Yeah, it's just funny how it's become a norm now, baiting people with things that are actually good.
Yep.
It's no.
Valve's is going to be
what's
Half-Life
happening to
3.
society when baiting becomes normal?
It's like the fucking the joke lottery tickets. I would never want to get one of those.
Oh, they
How
have
cruel
those? That's
is that?
fucked up, yeah.
You haven't seen videos or like little scratch offs that always
God.
win, but they're not real.
That's mean.
And people think they've won like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're so happy. And then you tell them it's fake, and it's like, you're just a dick.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
will
come
want
on,
to
man.
punch your nose in at that point.
You have to have a really
Yeah.
dark sense of humor to actually laugh at someone after doing that to them. Like,
Yeah.
I watched that, and I'm like, I'm so sorry.
haha, you still have a shitty life. See you later. Now everyone gets to make fun of you on the internet.
Haha, you still have student loans.
Oh my
Nothing
God.
is changing. In fact, a lot more people don't like you now. Yeah, that's a pretty just shitty prank. Oh, by the way, side note. Speaking of pranks, if you guys have never, my friend Jake was over recently for the Super Bowl. Super Bowl happened. That was cool. Anyway, he showed me this prankster named Remy Gallard. He's on YouTube.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, the France guy. He's hilarious.
Amazing. The best pranks
he does
ever.
The best.
Yeah.
Like, you can't... He has gotten on national television pretending to be a part of a soccer team that won the championship. He was holding the trophy in a photo live on national television.
He shook hands with the president. He shook hands with the president, and the president told him that he was a good player.
Oh man!
All of his
How do you
videos,
do
all
that?
of his videos end in him getting arrested in some form or fashion. Like he did a Mario Kart one where he's in a Mario Kart and he
Yes,
just
I
has
remember that.
bananas and
Oh,
he's
I've
just
seen
throwing
that.
bananas at
And he's
other people's
banana
cars.
peels.
That's so good.
He's the best. He had a whole video where he was just stealing cop hats.
Yeah.
Oh my
He just
God.
started running around fucking with
Oh
cops.
man!
He was-
And they would just tackle him to the ground and get him into
Yeah.
headlocks.
Or he would jump to places where they couldn't reach.
Yep. Yeah.
It's the
Yeah, there's one where he dresses up like a kangaroo and bounces around. Is just a dick to people. Like there's this one guy who's fishing and he just jumps and pushes him into the water and
kicks
jumps
him into
away.
the water.
Oh man. is great.
He's the best. I don't know how he got off on that tangent, but he is the best prankster ever.
Yep. It's fantastic. Well, I think we're done with the news.
Yeah.
We could go to the lightning round,
Okay.
but it seems so...
Do we instead of just take? Do we just want to take questions and read them off the chat? That might be easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, let you guys ask some questions.
Yeah, go ahead and ask some questions in the chat, and we'll have to wait like 7 seconds for them to pop up because of the delay. But we'll answer them after I'm trying to delay this, as you can see. So some questions.
Yeah.
Good job stalling, Austin.
Also,
That's great. All right,
have you guys
the first
played
one
any,
is no. What? Sorry, go on, yeah.
okay, good.
No.
Have you guys played any video games this week? While we wait for good questions to come in.
No.
Twilight Princess.
Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Nothing but I have been completely absorbed in it's become a thing. I can't stop. It's fun it's fun and it feels rewarding. I'm not gonna lie. I think once I learned the full thing, I mentioned also that the person with the current world record holder followed me on Twitch. Someone told me that he's a really cool guy and likes to help everyone who's learning the game. So that's awesome.
Oh, okay.
But it's weirdly fun to play a game in a completely different way than what you're supposed to play it. It adds a lot of challenge and a lot of fun to it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I don't think I would have the patience for it, but I can see it being very rewarding as well. Is Antichamber worth $20? I think so. It's really interesting and unique. It does a lot of things that video games haven't really done before, and it lets you like have weird experiences that you wouldn't really have otherwise. I think it's a very innovative experience, and I really think that sort of thing is worth exploring. What do you mean we're gonna miss 90% of the questions? We still only have one page of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob,
what is your least favorite Skyrim character?
least favorite?
Lydia.
The kids.
Oh,
the
kids
children.
Kids are awful as well.
course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fuck the kids.
Oh, I know
I
who mine
downloaded
is.
the mod to murder them, and I did it, and I enjoyed
don't
it.
blame
I
you.
enjoyed every second
You
of that
tell
murder.
anyone who doesn't know about video games that, and they will think you're a terrible person.
Yeah.
You're not a terrible
No,
person.
I'm not.
You are completely sane and logical.
I had to murder them. They afforded me no other option. The murder was
No.
necessary. I had to break the game to do it, and they are dead, and I am happy that they're dead.
Yep.
Rob, why do you act like an old man? I don't know what that means. Hold on, let me put on my reading glasses to try to get a better idea of the subtext of what you're saying. Yeah, go on with the questions.
Boobs or butts?
That's a tough one.
Boobs.
Rob, oh come on, you're a butt man. Rob.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, if I can have both,
Yeah.
You can't. That's
why
the
not?
whole.
It'd be kind of weird if you
That's why
dated
it's a
a
question.
mermaid.
Ninja Mars, why are you asking us about Dead Space 3? We were trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
We think that I don't know about what you guys think. I know what I think about Dead Space 3.
I heard from somebody who played the beta that the controls are not good for PC at all, and since it's a shooter, I never ever want to play it because I hate shooting with a controller. So that's how I feel about Dead Space 3.
I've never played any Dead Space, so I don't know.
I like survival horror games, but I mean,
That's not a survival horror game.
it's not anymore.
It's an
that's
action game.
that's what makes me sad about Dead Space 3 is it totally looks like an action game and not a survival horror
Even
game.
the second one isn't survival
Yeah, I know.
horror.
Yeah, I heard
The
the
first
second
one
one
is.
has
The
that
first
problem
one
as well.
totally is. The first one is terrifying and it's scary and it's
Well, of course, that's how it got
Good.
popular and mainstream.
yeah. But yeah. Then they got to do the Call of Duty route. They probably have an online multiplayer where you have unlock system for weapons.
Right. Any of you guys ever played Chrono Trigger? I played a little bit of it.
Finished it.
Didn't we answer that question once? Oh, you finished it.
I think so.
I think we talked about it. I don't think we exactly answered.
Yeah, I finished it when it came out in 1995, so there you go.
Ah.
I played a little
Oh.
bit.
What'd you
of
think
it.
of it, Zen?
What's that?
What'd you think of it?
What did I think of it? I thought it was really good. I know some people say it's the best RPG of all time, but back then I preferred Final Fantasy VI, and that's how it is still for me. But it's a good game.
It seemed fun. I never got a chance to play it when I was younger, sadly. Although
Yeah,
I
same.
did play. Now this is very obscure, I think. But I used to play this game on the Super Nintendo that I've been considering doing a Let's Play of because I haven't played it since I was a small child. But okay, so you guys know Secret of Mana, right? You've heard of that, or Secret of Mana?
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so
Secret
there's
of
this-
Evermore then?
Yes, the spin-off game Secret of Evermore. I love the shit out of that game when I was a kid. I played the shit, like, that was comparable to Link to the Past in my day, and that was so much fun. And I want them to make another one, but I've been thinking about Let's Playing it because it's mad good.
That was so strange.
Favorite fruit? I think bananas are the shit.
Oranges, actually.
Just eat
Easy
plain?
for me.
Peaches. Millions of peaches. Peaches for me.
Peaches are good.
I really like lime juice in other things. I can't just eat a lime. Well, I can, but I don't like to.
You put
But-
the lime in.
But I really, really like lime, so that's my favorite fruit if I'm allowed to mix it with other things. If I'm not, probably peaches. I like peaches a lot.
I'm an orange guy.
Peaches.
I fucking love oranges. I used to eat an orange like every day for lunch in school because you just go buy oranges real cheap at the store on the way to the train, and it was delicious and nutritious.
I'm not a big fan of like the kind of oranges you just get for super cheap at the supermarket, but if you get like farmers market oranges that have been like bred for like flavor and
Right.
they pick off some of them to if they're not trying to mass produce the oranges and
Right,
they're
so-
like super flavorful and delicious, I like those
Right.
a lot.
Yeah, the
Right.
hipster oranges that are organic and
Yeah, the
made
hipster
by,
oranges.
by cows who only talk about.
Yeah, I like oranges
modern
that are
art.
made by cows.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I don't know.
Cows
Like
only
it's
talk
just
about modern art.
like mass-produced oranges just taste so tasteless to me. They're watery and pulpy, and I don't know. I like really juicy, flavorful oranges. Like my great grandfather actually had an orange tree in his backyard.
Right.
Those were so fucking good. Oh my god.
Right, here's
I
the
actually
real
like
issue
the
here.
flavorless shitty oranges. Yeah, go on, Wes.
The real issue here is that those oranges that you find in supermarkets are not bred, well, as you say, they're not bred for flavor. They're bred to withstand long weeks, sometimes up to weeks of storage and transportation. So
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what they're bred for. So you know, you're not going to get the best flavor necessarily.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember going to my grandparents' house a while ago up in Maryland, and we would go to this way out in the middle of nowhere farm, literally like 45 minutes away, through hills and shit. And they grew peaches.
Oh man,
and
yeah.
They were the best goddamn peaches you could ever have.
Oh, I'll bet.
Yeah. Yeah, my great grandfather actually had a peach tree as well. So good. Oh my god. He had like this giant orchard in the back of his house with all these different fruit trees. It was great.
That's pretty awesome. They're actually. I used to live in California when I went to film school. Cam actually lives pretty close to this place. But anyway, across the street at the college, there was just an orange grove, and you could just go there and pick some oranges and eat them. I don't think you actually were allowed to do that, but you did it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would just do
But
that.
like, how are they going to stop you? Like,
Right,
I've seen
yeah.
orange groves like that too. There's like the oranges hang out into the street and you just grab them.
Yeah. That's like.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even fenced off or anything either. You can walk through it. Like it's not
Right.
like off
Yeah,
limits.
yeah.
Let's go eat some oranges. This is great. Oh, great free oranges all the time. I love oranges.
Yeah, I live near a town called Redlands in Southern California, and there are orange groves there that are just, yeah, basically like that. You can just, you're not supposed to pick the oranges, but you just can. There's no way they can stop you. They're just everywhere. Just like tons of oranges bordering the street.
Here's a question. What are your opinions on chicken salad?
It has vegetables in it, man.
Nope. Any
Not-
of you played the new Fire Emblem game so far?
It's not salad if there's no
I have
vegetables
it.
in it.
I don't have time to play it. Cyrene has been playing it somewhat, and yeah, neither of us really have the time. But you know, it does feed back into the whole permadeath thing that we're talking about. As you guys may know, that your units, if you play it in classic mode anyway, can just die off permanently. So it really makes the game much more fun that way, because a lot of your actions have meaning, right?
That's pretty cool,
But-
actually.
The problem with me is that most likely I'll play in the new casual mode where this doesn't happen. And the reason is I don't have time to play the game restarting a mission every time I lose a unit. You know, because that's what it came down to after a while when I play Fire Emblem, if I'm going to be perfectly honest here.
You gotta play Iron Man mode. No reloading.
No, there's no such thing as Iron Man.
Lose the thing. Yeah,
I'll tell you what I did. When I was much younger, I played the first Fire Emblem that came here for the GBA, and there's this thing in which there's a Colosseum, right? Sometimes you walk into a map, and there's a Colosseum there. And you can go into the Colosseum and fight as many times as you want. And you don't know who you're going to fight until you've committed yourself to it, okay? And if you fight, you can grind for money. So I do that for like 2 hours, right? Or, an hour. And then they'll just throw this piece of shit super promoted unit at me, kill off my unit. Like, oh god damn it! Yeah, so that's...
Motherfuckers.
I know, so I know Fire Emblem's supposed to be all like, okay, we give you meaning to all your units, but I ended up doing stupid shit like that anyway and bringing it upon myself.
Have any of you guys had braces before?
Yes.
Nope.
I'm supposed to get them, but I choose not to because I'm angry that they didn't tell me until like last year that I needed them. It's like, honestly,
I was
gonna wait until now.
I was supposed to, but I don't trust dentists, so.
Yeah, actually that's the same as I feel like they're telling me that I need them because they want to make money.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll wait until something bad happens.
Dentists are bullshit.
I do have pretty not straight teeth though, but it's not terrible.
Yeah.
I don't need them.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I have fairly crooked teeth, but I'm not gonna go through pain and agony and spend tons of money on getting braces.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Right.
Dentists are a bunch of bullshit, man. Why would you design a profession around, like, they make more money based on how many problems you like. They make money based on how many problems you have with your teeth, and the only one who could tell you that you have problems with your teeth is the dentist itself. It's the stupidest system that I've ever seen. You can't trust dentists. You can't.
Well, I mean, it's the same as doctors, really, isn't it?
A little.
Similar, yeah, but
Yep.
still, I don't.
Yeah,
really
trust
that's
just how
either,
healthcare
but
works.
Not as much as I don't trust dentists. Dentists, I feel, have less moral, character.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Dentists are immoral bastards.
They are. No, I swear to God,
Yeah.
I have never had tooth problems in my life. I never had tooth pain in my life. My mom one time when I hadn't been to the dentist in like 8 years, right? And but I have no problems with my teeth. I brush them and they're clean. It doesn't really matter. Like, they're basically white. And so, but my mom was just like, no, but you need to go to the dentist. And this is a couple years ago. So I was like, all right, fine. And scheduled a dentist appointment. The dentist literally brings an x-ray and is like, hey, yeah, okay, so you do actually have 4 cavities, but they're so small that you can't pick them up on the x-ray. So we're just going to drill into your teeth very tiny holes and make the fillings. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? That's the line of bullshit that you give me? They're so small that you can't see them? Really? Really?
Yeah.
Since then, I've had tooth problems. So, there you go.
Yep.
I don't trust dentists.
Yeah, I haven't been to the dentist in a really long time, and the last time I was at the dentist, he told me that pretty soon I would need my wisdom teeth out.
Yep.
Yeah, that's another one they gave me, and it didn't. And it's like, I'll wait till it starts to hurt.
Yeah, same.
You're telling me that it should hurt, and it doesn't hurt, so...
Yeah, exactly. It's been literally years since he said within the next 6 months I would need my wisdom teeth out, so I don't know what the deal with that is, but doing fine so far.
You do... to go the other way, you need to have dentist appointments still to clean your teeth. That's still kind of something you should do.
I clean my teeth
just
myself.
Brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
Well, no, just brushing your teeth sometimes isn't. You can seriously have problems if you don't at least do it once a year. I'm gonna say. I mean, you seriously do need to get your teeth cleaned, or you can.
No, that is the bullshit snake oil salesman that dentists feed those lies into your ears.
Yeah, how do they even clean my teeth? They just scrape them with metal things. They don't really do like my teeth are not that much cleaner.
All
after
they're
going
doing
to the
is
dentist.
is
And how long
the enamel off.
It's not the
It is
cleaning.
the
Rather, I
checking.
should say it's the checking.
They scrape off the
You
enamel
can
so that you have to go to the
problems.
so you have to go to the dentist more often because your enamel is gone because they keep scraping it off. That's why I do
hate the
not
scrapey
like
tools.
dentists. Fuck dentists. Seriously.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll move on to the next question. Before we get too heated.
This question was
this is a little more
Rob,
lighthearted.
do you
I
hate
promise.
dentists? That was the last question, just in case anyone wanted to know.
If you could go on a 2-week vacation to anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
New Zealand.
I think that's a good one. I think I would go to Alaska actually.
Right now?
Really?
Probably
not right
in
now.
fucking
'cause it's
January?
wintertime.
No, February. It's
Yeah.
February. Sorry, forgot
But,
what month it is.
It's actually a very beautiful place to go.
Portland.
Yeah, no, totally. But in the summer.
Yeah.
Portlandia.
Portlandia.
No.
Yeah, I'll probably end up
Portlandia.
going there. Just to look around because we've been considering moving up there at some point.
Oh, really?
So-
That'd
so
be awesome.
Portland.
I would like to move there as well.
I was actually making a joke answer in that I said Pornlandia, the land
Oh,
of porn.
Portland, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I thought you were referencing the TV show.
Yeah,
Portland.
so did
Well,
I.
yeah, that's sort of the joke, is that it's in reference to that, yet adding.
Good.
porn.
Welcome
Yeah,
back
you
to
guys-
Rob Explains the Joke.
Well, I mean, you guys obviously didn't get the
Take a
joke,
drink,
and I
everybody.
had to. So,
But in all
Well,
seriousness,
yeah, you lagged a little bit, so we couldn't tell you said porn.
yeah.
Like the end
yeah,
was
that's the
missing.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, though, I'll probably just take a cruise to the South Sea or something because I need to rest. I just need to rest.
You
I don't
seriously
want to
do.
take a vacation in which I need to be like hopping from one place to another.
Yeah.
Yeah, spending too much
Yeah,
time
cruises are
wrestling
nice.
bears and selling illegal drugs. Too much time.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm thinking also. Let's see, we're going about an hour and a half, and we are 2 hours into the actual time that we've been trying to set this up. So maybe a couple more questions, and then we'll wrap things up.
Yeah, sounds good. That's what I was thinking as well.
Someone asked if any of us would do an LP of the new South Park game whenever it comes out. Stick of Truth.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I've never watched. I don't know
maybe.
enough about South Park to do that.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the game to commit to that.
I love South Park. I love Obsidian Entertainment. I love Matt Stone and Trey Parker. I literally think that they are the greatest comedic geniuses of our time. So yes. Yes. I think that's very easy for me as an answer.
There is a question that says, Zan, is Cyrene ever going to record something on YouTube? You guys would know if you watch stuff other than my Binding of Isaac videos.
Oh, bird!
bird.
Here it comes, Zen with the haymaker. Fuck you, viewers.
But seriously though, seriously, she has made.
No, I completely agree with
Yeah.
you. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
She's been on our Torchlight videos. There is a Dungeons and Dragons online video that's floating around on my channel that has her. And whenever she's less busy, because we're all so busy, she's going to be recording a Binding of Isaac with me.
Yep. Yeah, but she was in a few episodes of Torchlight too, so you should go check that out if you're curious what she sounds like.
Exactly.
Or if she's actually not a mythical phase beast that Zen has invented. That he must face
There
in
is a phase
eternity.
beast. There is
Yeah.
a phase beast in that
Mythical-
series as well.
I
miss
know.
it.
Oh god.
It's very sad.
I'm still wrapping my head around physical phase beast. Or no, wait, I already lost
Yep,
it. Never
ruined
mind.
it.
Okay.
Ruined it for everybody.
Mythical
Yep,
phase beast.
Ruined it for
That's what
everybody.
it was.
Good work, Austin. God damn it! I don't think we
It's
have any more
actually a
questions.
tiger.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh.
She's a tiger in the sack. I think we've made that joke on the podcast before, actually.
I'm sure.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Have we?
That exact joke,
I didn't
yeah,
make it.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want Zen to kill me. I definitely did not make that joke.
Yeah, no, I just want to say that last joke that I referenced was made by Green. It wasn't me. Just in case you're
Yeah,
curious.
totally.
I'm not going to kill
Yeah.
any of you.
That's
Yeah.
somewhat scarier. That's like Arnold
I hate when
Schwarzenegger
people are
in
like-
Commando. Wait, remember when I told you I'd kill you last? I lied. I'm Zen right now. I'm terrified.
I hate when people in the chat are like, "You didn't answer my question." It's like well, now we don't know what your question is, man. You have to post it again.
Well, I skipped like 3 questions that we've answered before, so
That could be part of it as well.
Also, the chat was going a little fast, so I might have missed one.
Mm.
Oh, and Cam gets
Yeah,
back right
perfect.
as we're about to finish the podcast.
Let's just not let him in at this point because
Yeah.
they'll just have to start an Audacity and I'll have to
Yeah,
sync
that'd
it
be
up.
way too difficult, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But anyway, thank you guys for watching the We Need to Go Deeper podcast.
We apologize for the hour short this one is, but
Yes.
time constraints and such.
It's an hour and a half. The podcast has always been between an hour and a half and 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Just
Um,
trying to be nice, Green. Fuck.
no, don't. If you give the viewers an inch, they'll take a mile. Because
Yeah.
next time they'll be like, "What the fuck? Last time you said an hour and a half was short. Should be at least 3 hours." And we can't set expectations
But if you
too high.
can't get enough of it, well, actually, I should wait until the stream's over. Never mind.
So yeah, Lot the Triters. We've already answered questions about favorite YouTubers in the past.
Yep, we have, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think twice actually.
Twice.
We have, yeah. We've
Probably.
answered that in 2 separate podcasts, yes.
Yep. everybody's favorite is PewDiePie.
Yeah, right. We're all the biggest fans.
Of course.
I have posters of him all over. He's my wallpaper. Like, I don't even have a wall anymore. It's just PewDiePie, and it's just there's just big emblazoned letters of rape over.
So,
Yeah, you know how on your desktop background you can just tile an image. Rob did that, but it's like real wallpaper that he got custom ordered.
Right.
And
yeah, I have
wallpapered
it
his
raised,
room.
Yeah. Yeah, to
yes,
make sure
exactly,
that
exactly.
I can see the rape at all times. And also it's glow in the dark, like those stars that you have on your ceiling. I still have those, by the way. I have those.
So he just has glowing red eyes at night.
Yeah.
just glowing red eyes and the letters rape.
And then you just stare into his eyes.
And then you turn on the light and you can see it's PewDiePie.
Exactly.
That's legitimately
That
frightening.
is legitimately frightening.
That is serious. I think if it was anyone's face, though, that would be
pretty creepy. Yeah.
Specifically PewDiePie, though. Yeah.
So anyway, you guys want to pitch your channels before we end the podcast?
Nah.
Do we want to pet our channels?
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching.
No. Do I start? Do I do
Yeah,
it?
you always start.
It's
Rob.
not like you haven't gone
I
first
do it?
every fucking time.
I can't believe this shit.
I've-
It's always alphabetical except for Cam.
You guys
That's always how it's been.
This is why I think explaining the joke is now a joke, because you guys are terrible at seeing when jokes happen. But anyway,
That's not a joke. That's just you pausing.
that
You can't
all right.
just you
No,
can't
you're
just
right.
make
What's
not
the joke?
talking for a few seconds a joke.
Yeah.
Oh wait, what if this was all a joke?
Maybe
That's true.
it
It's all meta humor.
Maybe actually it's just one improv actor playing all of our roles right now, and it's a joke on you, the viewers.
He's also really good at talking at the same time.
Yeah, well, I have multiple throat voices like Tibetan monks.
Yeah. Tibetan.
Yeah, we have a Tibetan monk making this podcast.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, we
Just-
are
just
technically
one
a
Tibetan monk.
You gotta
Yeah.
wonder what I'm doing here. I gotta go back.
Tibet. Yeah. Anyway, I'm Alpaca Patrol. I am a semi-autonomous alpaca that makes videos on the internet while showing off the dexterity of his hooves, which is very impressive. Keep in mind, playing a game without opposable thumbs or fingers in that way is pretty impressive. Anyway, I make videos about lots of things. I'm starting to get into my backlog of indie games that I've been given keys for that I haven't shown. So far, I just did Gas Guzzlers recently, but I do Isaac, and I do Don't Starve, and XCOM, and FTL, and I think I'm starting up a Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess Let's Play. I don't know when that's gonna come out.
It's all a lie.
I don't know when it's
It's
gonna
all
come
over.
out, but somewhat soon. And probably other things in the near future as well. I'm on the lookout. I'm on the lookout for new Let's Plays because my XCOM is almost done. So
I'm Last Grey Wolf, or Woif, if you want to type it in on YouTube. But right now, I'm more focused on live streaming than I am on the YouTube channel, I'll be honest, because I'm, like I've mentioned, doing a speed run of Twilight Princess, and it takes a lot of practice and learning. So if you like speed runs, you should come check me out on my Twitch at 7 o'clock at night, Central Time. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We're having fun.
Okay. And I am Zen from the channel Zen and Cyrene. I do the Binding of Isaac and various assorted weird games that I like to play. I do have a question for you guys. I was waiting until the end in order to ask this question. I need a Chinese New Year run idea for the Binding of Isaac. I just haven't had time to think about it. So if you guys can think of something that has to do with the Chinese New Year, or the Year of the Snake, or something like that, come on over. Suggest it in one of my videos and I'll get around to it.
Oh.
And
Okay, I'm done.
if you want to see the guy who was not here, make sure to visit youtube.com/currentlydancingcam. He plays games
We
and it's
actually
really
just
bad at
kicked
them.
him out. That's why I was
Yeah. we don't
his internet died right before the podcast, but he's usually here.
quote unquote died.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, anyway, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next podcast.
Bye.